Never forget, on the 20th of October 2020, the Nigerian government signed off on the military to open fire on peaceful and unarmed protesters in Lagos, Nigeria. And some died, some of these protesters died, many were severely wounded. I live in UK, but I saw with my own eyes a live Instagram feed of one of the protesters dying while bullets were being extracted from his thigh by some of the other protesters. That was a really sad day. We must never forget it. The Lagos State Governor, Jide Sanwo-Olu, came out and said that he had no knowledge whatsoever of the military going to the Lekki Toll Gate to open fire on peaceful protesters. He denied any knowledge of this, and then later went on air to say that there were no fatalities. After that, he then came out again to say that there was just one fatality. Moving on from that, the foreign media were able to get wind of what was going on through to social media, and quite a lot of videos that was circulating online. And while CNN had an interview with the Lagos State Governor, he then said that, he knew about the military going to Lekki, but he did not give them the authority or the go-ahead, so to speak, to open fire on the protesters. One way or the other, somebody's lying, lives have been lost, and it is a day that we will remember in the history of Nigeria for a long, long time. My name is Femi Anthony, and you're welcome to another episode of the More You Look podcast. As usual, I'm here with my friend, my brother. I'm here with Sky.
Hello, everyone.
I just wanted to briefly just discuss this SARS thing and, sort of move on from it, because it's something that leaves a very bitter taste in my mouth, because people are trying to protest the killing, extortion, kidnapping of innocent civilians in Nigeria. And the best way for the government to respond to this was to allow the military open fire, killing some of these innocent protesters, peaceful, unharmed protesters, and wounding many. They've tried everything they can to sort of discredit all the stories, all the videos we've seen. We've seen videos of the police assassinating civilians, execution style. And they have said, those videos were photoshopped, they're all fake, they've all been staged.
Yeah.
And
they borrowed the lead from Donald Trump, basically.
Yeah,
if the news is not too positive towards them, then it's fake news.
They discredited everything. And you can actually see the online presence of the people who were like in the forefront of this whole protest, organizing funding for the protesters, for feeding and healthcare, organizing, first aid and medical assistance. You can actually feel and see some sort of defeat, which is understandable, because how can you not feel defeated when you've tried almost everything? And we can sit here in comfort and say, what's the way forward? And we can project by saying, let the youths come together and form a political party of their own. But this is Nigeria we're talking about. Do we even think that they will allow the youth get into any real meaningful position of power? Let's not forget about Funshaw Williams in Lagos State.
Yeah, but there is a kind of notion that I kind of believe, which is, even if we the youth are allowed in government, they are going to corrupt them. Look at Look at
Desmond Elliot. Desmond.
I believe the point he was trying to make, he probably for someone who has been on stage and who has been a performer all his life, to come out and make such a blunder is just ridiculous.
It's not a blunder. These people know what they're doing. They know what they're doing.
I don't agree that
Let me
wanted to do that 100%. I think he wanted to make a point that maybe social media needs to be tailored, like they're looking into in the foreign world.
If you really think about it, the saying, absolute power corrupts. Look at what's been happening. Following the aftermath of the SARS protest, where palliatives meant for Nigerians who were really struggling during that first lockdown. Now, most Nigerians live day to day. If they don't go out to open their shops or to the market to sell their wares, they will not eat. And this government, these politicians, they stored palliatives, food, bags, thousands of bags of food meant for people. They stored it in warehouses.
One of them even came out to say he was waiting for his birthday to share. Like, how ridiculous.
Is it gifts?
How disgraceful. Because he wants the people that he gives it to be grateful. You understand? He doesn't care whether he's saving their lives. He just wants gratitude.
People were told to stay indoors.
That's basically what he's looking at.
So you can share these palliatives on his birthday, and then remind them later that look
on my birthday, I did this.
Look at the other idiots, the woman who called the youths who said that they're always high on drugs. Do you know that this woman was born in 1977? A 43-year-old calling the Nigerian youths drug addicts. This same woman was later revealed to she was using palliatives for her birthday She shared palliatives as souvenir for her birthday.
The one that said they stole motorbikes
from his house. What were those things doing in your house?
Sorry, let's get one thing straight.
Oh my goodness!
For our friends in all areas of the world, Nigeria is a different place. Like, just body, whatever.
But I'll tell you something
that you can imagine as the worst in life, in any kind of society, is a norm in Nigeria, basically.
But I'll tell you something,
it's just the norm,
If we are to go deeper in this issue, did you also know that the UK government actually trained the SARS, the Special Anti-Robbery Squad?
I'm not sure how
the UK government. No, let me finish. The UK government trained, provided ammunitions, arms to this SARS squad, while their own police do not actually carry guns in the inner cities. Just think about it.
The irony of that.
So they trained. No. I won't.
I see where you're going.
No. Let me paint. No, you will understand the relevance. No, it's because I'm going off of what you just said. You said that all the seemingly ridiculous things that people would think, how could this even happen? It's just norm back home in Nigeria, which is why I'm trying to make this point that the UK government trained a unit to be killers, to kill their own citizens willy-nilly, while their own police do not even carry guns in the inner cities. And this is where I'm coming to. Yeah, and this is where I'm coming to. You see, some of us, through the years, we sort of attribute corruption, to Nigerian politicians. We attribute corruptions to the average Nigerian. But please, let's take a pause. Who taught these politicians how to be corrupt?
Not just the politicians. Remember when they were back in the slavery period, when they came in, the only way they were able to conquer us were to bribe us,
You are going way back.
Yeah, that's the roots basically. That's where they taught us. So the chiefs then when they realized that, oh, you can get me, a powder,
a whistle,
gunpowder,
a whistle,
get me whistle, get
mirror,
me rum, which they never saw before, you can get me all these things, and all I need to do is give you some of my family members to take away. Yeah.
But let's not go
that far,
deeper.
Yeah.
Let's not go that deep into the rabbit hole. But the point I'm trying to make is the British colonized us, and from 1960 till date, these people know that if you unite, it's not going to be favorable for them.
And they also know that if we leave the norm.
Why is it that they are always the ones training the paramilitary, training the SARS, to now go back? Okay, are you telling me that SARS became rogue and they just, went left and started killing their people?
I have a different perspective about all this, Femi. See, it doesn't matter. It will look like I'm jumping to the defense of the UK in this matter, but the reason why I said I'm not sure how it's relevant to the movement in Nigeria right now is this. It's like, we are all taught by some teachers. Did we end up going like our teacher? No. The teachers when UK was agreed to train our Nigerian police force, is because they want to get money from it. They want to, because of what they stand to gain from it, because they were not offering those training for free. They get government contracts, they get some kind of incentives, if it's not direct cash, So my point is, yes, the UK trained them, right, because they need to make money for their own economy, right? And the ones that have been trained, those have gone on to use that training for their own personal gains, which has resulted them into killing innocent people.
Do you think that the Lagos State Governor, Jide Sanwo-Olu, do you think he should step down?
Yes, in an ideal world, it is an embarrassment. Even in the UK, if someone does that, like,
it's not an embarrassment.
If something like that happens on your watch, anywhere in the world,
the fact that
first world countries, that's what happens. You got to step down so that someone else can take over and do a better job. But that's not going to happen in Nigeria, bro.
No, nobody ever steps down.
That's you dreaming.
No. But for me, the fact that this man, there have been conflicting stories from his lips. I think he himself needs to face a panel. And I'll tell you what disturbs me greatly is the fact that an independent panel, I think, was set up to look into the Lekki massacre, because that's what it's been called.
Yeah, and rightly so.
And I do not understand why this man, this governor, has anything to do with this panel, because apparently they are to report to him. You have been accused of sanctioning the killing of unharmed peaceful protesters. And the ridiculousness of these politicians just think, they take the piss. They think people are stupid. Look at Fashola.
Let me get this straight, For them reporting to him, is it that he's going to be the one to actually do the sanctioning?
That is not the point. He himself needs to be investigated, and to do that, he needs to recuse himself for anything that has to do with this ongoing investigation. These people think we're stupid because they know that at the end of the day they are going to win. Just take a look at this. Days after Loma had visited the site of the killings, where it's been cleaned, evidence had been scrubbed, we have a former governor, somebody that I actually used to respect, one of the few that people actually respect, came there, walked around like a cock, and then discovered a brand new CCTV camera.
That's not CCTV, bro. That's a camcorder.
That's a camcorder.
That's a camcorder. I'm surprised. Maybe at first, when I kept saying this on social media, I felt like people were trying to say, like, they were trying to justify it in a funny way that it's a CCTV. That's a camcorder. I've seen the clip several times. That's a camcorder. That's not. Bro, we live in the UK. Is that what you're saying?
But it's Nigeria anyway.
You don't put CCTV on the floor. Like, You don't put it on a level ground.
The ridiculousness of this situation.
Landscape mode so that you can.
Hundreds of people had visited that site, and then this man and cleaned it, and then this man turns up and finds a brand new.
Yeah, well, like everybody has quoted him as he's the inspector of the decade.
And then look at the other governor that was crying. I think that's the new thing they do now, crying,
fainting, crying.
How, like, oh my goodness!
I'm telling you.
Do you know that for our viewers watching from other parts of the world, the sane parts of the world, Nigeria is a country where we were told that a snake swallowed millions,
and rats,
and everybody just swallowed it and bought it, hook, line, and sinker. It's a country where basic amenities are commissioned with photo ops and photography and everything, photo shoots. Somebody opens 2 tap water in their community, in their constituency, and they bring basic amenities. I can understand why, the people who have sort of been in the forefront of this struggle, of this end SARS, trying to make a positive change. I can understand why they would feel sort of let down, because we watching from abroad, we also feel greatly let down by all the new events surrounding, the fallout of the protests. And all I can say is, I know it can be mentally draining. Your mental health is very, very important. Yeah. People have died. So many are still dealing with sort of deaths of relatives. And I guess stupid people online actually coming to the aid, to the, defense of this government, saying, well, why are we not seeing parents, showing, pictures of their dead children? How do you even begin?
First of all, not that many parents,
people are still looking for their children since that day.
Media to announce their grief. Don't forget, as Nigerians, especially with Yorubas, we have a saying that tissue anybody, and for the same thing happens when we grieve. When we're in sorrow, we don't go around.
Sky, that is that, yeah. But that's not even the point. These people expect parents.
Expect parents to put it on social media. That's another way that this government and every government we've had in Nigeria has failed us, because I don't like using the word that they think that we're stupid, because
that's what they do.
They know that we are going to swallow it.
That is why
I don't think it's the same thing as being stupid, but they know that we are going to swallow it. Whatever they give us,
Sky,
you just take it.
Sky,
drink on it.
I've come to you to say, you know what? That £2,000 you borrowed me.
Yeah.
Rats came into my room, and just ate it all.
Yeah.
And you say, oh. Fine. Okay. For you to say that, I must have known that there's a possibility of you saying that. Which means I know that you're stupid. Because only a stupid person would... You get what I mean? Yeah. That is why a government will come out and say, oh, those palliatives were stored in that warehouse because we were waiting for a second wave.
They know we'll make some noise about it.
I was waiting to share palliatives
we'll keep
to people in my state on my birthday.
Yeah, like seriously, someone says that, by now, they know that you can't do shit. Like, apart from the movement that we've done, they know we're not going to do shit. Like, they know we're going to just swallow it. Because that kind of a person that comes to say that he's waiting to share, he should have just resigned, like, basically.
Immediately.
But it's
or
Nigeria.
Get arrested.
Resignation is only if you're a member of the opposition party.
Resignation is a
myth. And
you're
under immense pressure.
It's insane. Anyway, I say all that to say that I do feel you. Our Nigerian brothers and sisters, we feel you. I'm not trying to be a hypocrite, but I genuinely understand how you feel presently. We protested in the June 12th protest back in the day. I saw a lot of people get murdered right in front of my eyes, you know. And we were there doing the Agoiwe fracas, where indigents of the Ogun State University, the indigents of the village,
versus,
and many students were killed. So I kind
what
of...
What actually happened with that? This thing? It was the Oba.
It's something we're going to discuss on a different episode, because that's a full episode on its own. We need to revisit this in a sort of you know, when they say they're doing a 10-year anniversary or something, you know, we need to revisit it to just bring more light to this, because I remember vividly. Anyway, not to segue too much into other issues, I just want Nigerians out there to know that we feel you. Don't think that there is no help out there. There is. Mental health is very, very important. We sort of bottle up a lot of things that we feel that, oh, we're strong people anyway. We're not like all those weak white people. But I can assure you, we all have mental health struggles. And in Nigeria, there's an organization called Nigerian Association of Clinical Psychologists, NACP. That's they have a Lagos State chapter, and the numbers is 090-624-36540. There's another number 081-719-07906, and another 090-349-94798. If you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling anxious, you're feeling sad, depressed, or traumatized by some of the recent events, there's really helplines out there to sort of help you manage how you're feeling just through these very, very sad times. There are counseling helplines that has been also created by the Elevation Church. That's +234 814 330 9606. If you ring that number, there's always someone there behind the line to help you with counseling. And we feel you, we feel the struggle, and we can only at this point hope for the best, because I genuinely do not know the way forward.
I think we're moving forward gradually. Like, if you told me...
No, the only thing this has done, the only thing this protest has done is just open the eyes of the youth.
Yeah, but basically, if you had told anyone, you know, like me, last year, that Nigerians would have poured out immensely like that, I wouldn't believe it, you know. But for us to have, you know, crossed that bridge, I believe there's hope for us in the future. It might take us longer because we have, as in basic, I don't want to generalize, but I would like to say like 90% of our leaders are shit, you know, like basically. No, they are all corrupt. You know,
they're just all corrupt.
Hopefully, if we keep making this kind of moves, we'll get there, you know. And maybe shorter than it would have taken us if we continue to keep silent, you know.
Yep.
Basically.
Let's segue. Talking about corruption, there is this notion that I would like us to discuss that I'm moving away from Nigeria now. Okay, we know that there's a lot of corruption in Africa, but the question here is, what is the root of African corruption? How did we get here? Because you know, when you know, we live abroad, and the general consensus, the general notion is that, oh, the average Nigerian is a fraudster. Probably the average Asian is into what do you call it? Fake, you know, they manufacture fake products, you know, and when they've even coined it. While I was growing up, I've always heard of made in China. Yeah. You get what I mean? So we really need to change the notion and the narratives. Look at what's going on presently in the country that we live in England. Speaking of corruption within the Nigerian government, I want us to segue into this corruption thing as a whole, because there's this misconception that people do have. If we want to sort of now bring it back home to England where we live, when I see people online on social media talking about this illegal immigration thing that is ongoing presently, where people try to come from different countries on dinghies and on rubber boats, and then just to come into England, and I see people going, "Oh, the foreigners again! Oh, deport them! Oh, blah blah blah."
That's how we ended up at Brexit.
You know what I mean? And the issue I have with this is, it has become clear to me, at least since I've been in this country, excuse me, which has been for quite some time now, that quite a lot of British people believe that foreigners are their problem. And I don't think these people understand that foreigners or even illegal immigration is way down on your list of problems. Let me give you an example. At least back home in Nigeria, it is clear to us all that the average politician is a thief and a looter. Anybody that is in any position of public office is a thief. But in this country, I find it weird that people don't even put the searchlight on their politicians. Let me give you an example. Since this COVID has started, do you know that the lawmakers, the people responsible of making these crucial laws, of passing bills, the politicians, so to speak, have spent, at least Boris Johnson, under the, I would say leadership of Boris Johnson, we've spent £10 billion on a trap and trace system that has not worked. We've spent £16 million on COVID tests that didn't work. I'm giving you facts. I'm not making up these figures now. Okay? We've spent £900,000. Guess what that money was for? I want you to guess.
I have no idea.
This government spent almost £1 million to redecorate Boris Johnson's plane
during this pandemic.
Where is it flying to? A plane that cannot fly anywhere due to the very pandemic we are in right now. They spent 900,000, while members of parliament are getting a pay increase of over £3,000, while small businesses are being ruined daily, while people's mental health is falling apart all over the country. This country has spent billions on nothing. They spent millions buying PPE that were unusable.
That turned out to be infected.
Unusable. But you are home.
I even heard
the pictures. No, Sky, let me finish before I forget this point. The pictures they are putting in front of everyone is like 20 people on a rubber boat coming through the channels trying to get into England. And then you see this opera on all social media, all the groups. Oh, they should be fucking off back to where they're coming from. They've ridden past numerous countries. Why are they coming to England? So you think that a couple of dozen people on rubber boats trying to come to your country to stay in some dingy hotel, to literally live on 30 quid a week, they are your problems? Do you see that governments all across the world, this is not an African thing. This disease of corruption is not limited to Africa alone.
No,
governments, this is what they do. I mean, I was reading the paper the other day and I realized that some of the contracts they've awarded during this pandemic were traced to companies that were only recently registered few days before getting this contract. And who do you think owns these companies?
Yeah, relatives. There's a particular lady that I heard, she's kind of related to.
So they know what they're doing. It's exactly why we have this podcast, because there's something we say when magicians are about to perform their trick. They say, the more you look,
the
less you see.
Yeah.
And
this is the name of the podcast.
This is the More You Look podcast, because we're here to sort of show you those magic tricks that you've missed. We unveil it to you. Foreigners are not your problem. Legit foreigners who come into this country, you will find that they come into this country to work.
Let me ask you something.
Illegal immigrants in this country can actually not get employment anywhere, because if you employ an illegal immigrant as a company or an organization, you are liable to face a fine of £10,000. And nobody wants to take that risk, which is why every time they have to check that your passport is current, your visa is up to date. So please tell me, those people you see on boats, they are fleeing their countries to come here simply for safety. They don't get to work. The 30-40 quid a week they have to live on is not suitable for anyone. We are all in this together. So before you think, illegal immigrants are the problem, all these foreigners and their problems, bringing their problems to these countries, as in putting pressure on the NHS, putting pressure on the schools, putting pressure on hospitals. They are not the one putting pressure on anything. All this money being pissed down the drain and being awarded to the elite amongst themselves. If they pump that money into NHS, what do you think will happen? If they pump the money into schools, what do you think would happen? If they pump the money into education, what do you think would happen? I think we need to restructure our mentality based on our approach to each other. Foreigners are not your problem.
Femi, I think I was going to ask you something first of all. Do you believe that, let's say the UK for instance, do you believe that anyone in the UK that opposes immigration or foreigners
is a racist?
You think they are racist?
Well, not entirely, and I'll tell you why. I believe that there are different types of racist. There's the racist who literally hates anything that is not white. You have the racist that just doesn't want to be in the same space as, someone who does not look like them. And you have the racist who is a racist based on what they've just heard. Yeah. What has been passed down to them. And when they get to know people who don't look like them, they realize that, oh God. So that kind of racist only needs knowledge.
And there's racists who the only mindset they've got is that they feel superior to others.
That's all. So for some of these people who believe that foreigners or people who don't belong in this country are the problem, they don't necessarily have to be racist.
All right, my point.
There are just people who believe that, these people are coming here, sharing schools with my kid, putting pressure on our hospitals. And I'm so sorry, Sky. Give me just 20 seconds. Another thing I would like you guys to know is that for anyone that wasn't born in this country, for them to be able to travel into this country, they have to pay a fee to use the NHS. For your visa to be granted, for you to be able to come into this country, there is a fee that you pay for you to have access to healthcare in this country.
Are you talking about healthcare? Look, bro, when I was coming to this country, I paid almost 200,000 naira, just to apply.
Yep.
And if I was denied, that was 200,000.
There is a lot of misconception and misinterpretation
going on. We don't come here for free, really.
That's what most people think.
Refugees, which they are fearful for their life.
Man, how many? No, look on the census, on the grand scale of things. How many refugees are in this country? Think about it. Well, I'm not even going to try to make the argument here that if you look at the roots of this whole refugee issue, it all stems from Europe.
From what they've done.
From what they've done to these countries. It's just a ripple effect.
Yeah.
But don't even let's go down that. Don't let even venture into that street at all.
Yeah.
But all I'm gonna say is, because I want us to move on from this really quickly, foreigners are not your problem. Look more towards your government. This is the situation in every country you go to. When people think, oh, go back to your country, oh, look at our schools are being swamped, oh, look, there's pressure on the NHS. It's your government cutting all the fundings, not the foreigners.
As we round up, let's just cite the example of Canada. What have they done? With the impact that is happening on, with the COVID, running business economies all over the world. Canada, they decided that they're going to get more immigrants, and that's a country that
I was just going to look for that.
That's a country that continues to lead the way. When
they are actively
and it helps
looking for immigrants.
Boost their economy.
Oh yes,
over and over and
oh yes, of course.
What was one of the reasons why for Boris, winning the what's it called, the Prime Minister seat? It was basically because he said he was going to devote in immigration, a systematic immigration process where skilled forces will be allowed to come in. Why? If the UK has all those things and their economy is doing that great, then why is it doing that? Why does it want skilled people to come in if they are here already?
Because it knows they are going to contribute more.
Exactly. Every little person that comes in, contributes.
All this what you are saying is long story. Let's just put it this way. Ask yourself, if everybody who is not white wake up tomorrow morning and vanishes from this country, will this country start? Will it?
The healthcare will just
think about it. The
first thing you need to go, the NHS that they are saying help save the NHS. Without foreigners in this country, the NHS is like World Trade Center, that's it.
You have Jude with his bad teeth and lack of qualifications saying Amil, a doctor, and a surgeon from India is the one responsible for taking his jobs and running his country. Anyway, off of that,
it's a really long
we really need to sort of on a more serious note. By the time you're watching this, we probably would already have been in our second lockdown in England. And I think it's going to break quite a lot of people mentally. I personally know people who are self-employed and whose businesses are being torn apart. Mental health is falling apart all over the gaff. And I saw this post by someone on my Facebook that, before I read it out, there's something I want us to be doing. On subsequent episodes now, we need to have a segment for Post of the Day. And we will also have a segment where we will review songs that we've discovered during the week. So the post is from a lovely lady called Paula, and it makes a lot of sense to me because it has to do with what's going on right now in England. And it says, if you thought a summer lockdown was bad for people already struggling with mental health, a winter lockdown is going to be 10 times worse. Because there's going to be cold, dark nights and limited social contact. So please keep a lookout for your family, friends, neighbors that are struggling. The relapse and overdose rates has increased by 30% since March, since this whole fracas started. Mental health issues related to our lockdown and the pandemic are especially hard for people with depression. It says Shout is the UK's first 24/7 text service. It's basically a text message service where you could reach out and It says it's free on all mobile networks for anyone that finds themselves in crisis, mental health crisis. And all you have to do is text 85258 on your mobile phone. The other one is the Samaritans. They provide very confidential, non-judgmental emotional support for people experiencing feelings of distress or despair, including those that could lead to suicide. All you have to do is on your mobile phone, dial 116123. That's 116123. It's a free service to use, and there will always be someone at the other end of the line, to sort of have a conversation with you to help you manage whatever feeling you might be going through. What do you think about this second lockdown? Does it even make any sense to you? No, the reason why I'm asking you that is because the Prime Minister went on BBC and gave this speech, and he said the time to act is now, but next Thursday. And kids are allowed to go to school. You're not allowed to meet any other member of a family, any member of another family inside your house, but you can meet them outside. So I don't know. I think this is a problem that stems from the elite being so disconnected from day-to-day people. Because if you think about it, do these people know the number of parents that converge in front of schools at drop-off and pick-up times? Do they understand that kids are super spreaders? You want to act now. The urgency and the seriousness of that speech does not even merge with the outcome of the rules of this new lockdown. What do you think?
Bro, I mean, making sense of this government's approach to the COVID pandemic, it drives. I can't even begin. It drives me crazy. But the truth is, Femi, I always try not to be too negative, about their approach also, because why? None of us alive, right now, has ever witnessed something like this, of this magnitude, a pandemic like this.
The Black Plague.
Yeah, but it wasn't like this, affecting all economy. It was affecting some areas. Every economy in the world has been crippled by the pandemic. Oh, yeah. So my point is this. What experience have they got in dealing with a pandemic? I don't think they had any experience. There was no CV, they didn't acquire any knowledge before this, and even the scientists who are trying to get treatments for this, they're struggling as well, So my point is, let's be a bit more tolerant, Yes.
Of what? Of the government?
Listen, not the government, but the approach.
Approach?
No. Let's continue to talk what we feel should be done.
No, but what I'm saying is, I want you to clarify to me now. Yeah. Are you sort of defending a government that
I'm not defending them.
Bear in mind that
I'm not defending
the pandemic is affecting the whole world. Yes. Bear in mind there are countries that have successfully handled and managed this situation.
But it's coming
bear in mind that the UK government dropped the ball immensely. Bear in mind that if they had properly managed this pandemic from the start, we would not have the number of deaths we have right now.
Femi, I started by saying that making sense of their approach and the way they reason drives me crazy.
There have been more twists and turns to this than Shakira's waist in her prime.
Like I said, Femi, it's the way I see this government, Boris Johnson, I keep telling people when I chat with them, I say this: Boris Johnson came into the seat, of the Prime Minister because he wanted to deal with Brexit. He never thought he was going to be dealing with the pandemic. Mm-hmm. So my point is the least qualified person to be there right now. The Brexit that he came in to tackle, it doesn't even have a chance to deal with that, and that is even falling to pieces. He wanted to, as an alternative to negotiating trade deals with EU. He wanted to go negotiate with the US and other countries, right, outside of Europe. But that is not even possible, because I'm sure for that to have happened, he would have been traveling a lot, but he can't even travel. So my point is this:
I think
Femi, if he's guessing, if
you are going to have,
let me summarize.
See, this is what you should have said. This is what you should have said.
I do not expect better. Let me summarize.
Because I think what's going on is he doesn't want to offend certain people, which is why he's trying to say, oh well, you can do this, you can do. I think this is a time to be very firm.
You can go out, but don't go out.
You know what I mean? There's been more twists and turns to this nonsense than Shakira's waist in her prime. And I just think that a lockdown, a serious lockdown,
at this time
shouldn't be involving children going to school. I can understand the argument for, people need to go to work, essential staff and all that. But come on, during the first lockdown, we made this work. They are worried about the increase in number of coronavirus incidents. But you cannot keep allowing people meet in public. It affects everyone. I'm not being sensitive here. This is something that's going to claim more lives. So I would rather suffer for a month than then have to deal with this for the next 18 months, if you know what I mean. I'm not just being a dickhead, sorry, but this is where we are. Moving on. Sky, rounding up, we can't just, finish today's podcast without, not talking about the voting elections going on in the United States of America. I've seen videos of Trump supporters sort of, chasing, the Biden's campaign truck out of certain areas, like in the Texas, in certain districts in Texas, and there's been talk of voter suppression. Long story short, Donald Trump and Joe Biden, who do you think will come out on top?
Yeah, basically Kanye West.
Kanye!
Just kidding. I think Kanye meant to come out in 2030 or 20.
No, that guy knows what he's doing.
He was trying to, announce his election for 2032. Well,
I might end up being wrong, but personally, I think Trump will win again. And the reason why I say my own reason for saying that, I'm not going to even waste time on this, is because I've read too much. I've seen too many videos about voter suppression, all these, tactics, legal tactics, loopholes that, these, politics, dirty politics being played. I saw a video of a Joe Biden campaign, what do you call this truck that rappers use to go on tour?
Tour buses.
Yeah, tour bus. Getting, there were lots of Trump supporters chasing that truck with their own vans. And the truck eventually had to turn around and leave that state. And when things like that happen, there's nothing you can do about it. So that means that you cannot campaign in that particular area. And when more incidents of that happen, what do you think happens? And I've seen Lil Wayne, I don't know if you've seen that picture, Lil Wayne with Donald Trump, Ice Cube with Donald Trump. People that you would not even expect.
I think I saw it on one of the starters on one of
you get what I'm saying.
Wrestlers, innit?
You get what I mean? Some of the wrestlers that I've sort of followed, supported, watched from my childhood, all making sizable donations to Donald Trump's campaign.
You know what? I never understand.
It says something.
I never understand how people think. But basically, if you are it comes to friendships, so to speak,
Bro,
if you are a die-hard fan of
this man is known to be a bigot, a racist, and you have these people,
But you've also seen most of the most sound minds, still supporting him. Like,
oh yeah.
For me, I think it's more like love. Sometimes when you love someone, or when love is in action, you're blind.
Man said when love is in action.
you're blind to see some of the
to certain things, yeah.
Exactly. So I think the love for Trump, so by his supporters, obviously, the love for Trump, it makes them blind to hear or see some of these actions, because they just love him. So, like I said, it's friendship at the end of the day. They love him. There's nothing anybody can do about it. You can't say anything.
I can't picture Lil Wayne loving Trump,
It beats me.
I was shocked when I saw that.
I couldn't picture Kanye West loving Trump.
I've seen a video of Lil Wayne in an interview, acting really stupid, saying he doesn't really care about the Black Lives Matter because it doesn't particularly affect him personally, all that doesn't matter. Either way, I wish Americans good luck. And I hope people actually go out to vote. By the time you get to watch this episode, the election will probably have been over. And one way or the other, we will know who carried the day. Yes, that is all we have on this episode of the podcast. On the next episode, we will be reviewing Wizkid's new album, Made in Lagos. We will be discussing Premier League football and the Champions League. And till then, I've been Femi Anthony, and I've got Sky here.
And please just do let us know if
keep leaving your comments. Exactly.
Especially Made in Lagos. If you enjoying, if you
tell us how you feel about Wizkid's new album.
So that we can talk about it, next episode, But peace. Thanks a lot.
Peace out.
Cheers.